We are in Nashville, Tennessee at the KLOVE Awards, and right now I have the pleasure of sitting down with my all-time favorite Christian duo
Well, wait a second.
for King and Country. Wait, no, not just duo, just all-time Christian artist band.
It's like when you say your older brother.
You're my favorite older brother.
You're my favorite oldest brother. It's like, well, hang on a second.
But you guys don't even know why you're my favorite. I haven't told you yet. All right, so you probably don't remember this. Last year, do you remember me?
Oh,
this is a trick question. There's only one answer to this.
I don't. I'm being honest.
No, and sadly.
Okay, so on the red carpet, I had been standing out there for 3 hours, right? And I wanted to go backstage.
Yeah.
And the security guard was like, sorry, ma'am, you don't have your pass. And I was like, please. And she was like, we're going to make you walk a mile around the building.
Yes.
Okay?
That's terrible.
And I was holding my heels in my hand, and you guys walked by, and you were like, she's with us. So you let me go backstage with you,
You know
so
what?
I didn't
I
have
actually
to walk.
vaguely remember that, and it was
Yes.
literally just like a spur of the moment. Hey, she's fine. Come
Are
on.
you
What
just
good
saying
citizens
that?
we
No,
are.
I'm not.
You
I
must have
vaguely
been
remember. It was to the left of the stage on the
Yes.
Opry line. Opry.
Awesome.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool. So that's kind of why you're my favorite, but I also really love y'all's music. I really, really love
If
it.
it's any consolation, I actually do remember as well.
I don't know that I...
Now I know exactly what you're talking about. Now that you said the location, where all the trees are and over there to the left side, it's sort of an awkward spot.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
All right, so anyways...
That's a good place to start the interview, isn't it?
But anyways, so this year you guys are nominated for 4 awards. You're nominated for Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Duo of the Year, and Best Live Show, in case you didn't know or you'd forgotten. What would it mean for you guys to win all 4? That'd be pretty cool.
Wow.
Well, the all 4, awards to me are just a very strange thing in general, just because this is not what we do music for. You know, it's fun that you get to bring everybody together, but the reason why you do music is because you believe that music is connecting with people. Mm-hmm. And a fan voted award show is a little bit more special because it's the actual people choosing who they connect with. And so ultimately those awards represent to me is music connecting with people and lives being changed. And I don't really see the K on the award. I a lot of times I think I see people's faces that we get to shake people's hands after during signing lines and such.
That's really cool. What do your fans mean to you?
Well, it's a funny question, even in this environment too, because you see, or even when we were walking over here, just it's a weird social thing where someone's impacted by your music and they'll see you, and it's like it's instant connection, you know, like we've never met before, but instant. They know.
You feel that? Because I know that you're a fan. As a fan, I'm sure that they feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. But do you?
Well, the moment, like I was out on this run this morning, which you'd never know now with all the rain, but I was out on the run, and this woman in probably her late 40s, early 50s, had bandana on, ran up beside me and said, I was in chemo 2 days ago, and I had breast cancer, and it's gone to my shoulder. And basically, she was saying it's inoperable. And here she is running beside me, and we have a song out right now called Shoulders. And she said, "Man,
I love
that
song.
has like radically carried me through." And so I think for us, you take the people away. There's no, what are you doing music for? You know, and it's funny because it's a real easy thing to forget as well. You know?
How do you not forget it?
Running 5K.
Yeah. Because I think their stories are real just like our stories are real. You know, our stories, when you're writing songs, you know, speaking of Shoulders, that song, there's a story behind that, you know? So when you see somebody else connecting with that story, you go, they're exactly like me. Writing songs is an expression of what's going on in our personal lives. And a lot of times I think people think that there's a disconnect, you know, we just think of something clever to try and say. I wish that we were that brilliant, but we're not, you know? And so when you see somebody else come and say, hey, this song means something to me, I can usually go, I know exactly why, because I walked through the exact same thing.
Wow. Tell me about Shoulders. What is the message behind it?
Well, it's a very personal song for both of us, but particularly for Luke. It's the last song written for this new album, really, and it was written basically in the back lounge of a tour bus, which a lot of the record actually was. We were in the middle of traveling and touring while writing a lot of this, and it afforded us this really wonderful connection with the audience where we would sing on stage, and we would literally, a lot of nights we'd walk straight off stage, back into the bus, and continue writing. But Shoulders is a song. If you could write a self-indulgent song, it would probably be that one, particularly for Luke. But for me, even as a brother, Luke walked through some pretty severe illness over the last few years, and it was that raw question of when medicine's failing you and no human being can step in the gap. Where does your help come from? And it was almost this unreligious kind of, well, my help comes from God. That was the only place to find solace in. So it's a very, very honest, true song I think for both of us. It's a very impacting song to sing.
Yeah, Luke, tell me about that time when you were sick. What was that? I mean, that's got to be really difficult. Obviously, it came out in your song.
Yeah, well, when you're, when you're 26 years old and my wife actually came to me and she said, "Hey, Luke, you can't, you just can't leave me here. You got to fight through this. We gotta get to the other side." And when you're a 26-year-old man, you feel relatively invincible, and when I was bedridden and unable to serve my wife, unable to be the father to my kids, that was like when reality hit me. Like, I'm really, really sick, and in the moment you're just trying to survive. Your mind's all crazy, and you're just trying to figure out a way to get through this. And what I'm thankful for is I had to ask myself during that time, what are the things that I'm learning? What are the things that I'll be able to take away from this? And when you can do nothing for God and yet you still feel loved by Him, it changes the way that as I've gotten better, the way that I live my life, the purpose that I live, the way that I love people, because I think it's very easy when you grow up in the church to feel like it's what I do that makes me feel like I can be loved by God. But when you're literally got nothing and yet you can still hear the voice of God say, "I love you, I cherish you, I'll do anything for you." And the one thing that kept repeating in my head was, "Just wait, it'll all be okay. Just hang tight." And that was what helped me get through, I think.
So you guys are also up for Best Live Show as well. What do you think it is about your live show that your fans love so much?
Accidents.
They're waiting for us to fall.
They're waiting for you to fall.
This is a great example.
You say it like that has happened before?
Yeah, always and has. Says it many times, sometimes deliberately. But there's a point. We the whole show is, or each song is to a click track, and we have some supplement sounds that come in and out of the track. So it keeps us all in tune, if you will, and on target. Well, there's one particular show. It was in Tennessee here in Gatlinburg. We were playing the intro for the song, and it was this big kind of building intro, and the click track kind of went haywire. It started skipping and the whole deal, and. So we kind of stopped. It's right at the beginning of the show. We kind of stopped. It sort of fizzled out, and we looked at each other and we went. And I just kind of counted. When the click started again, I counted us back off, and we went back into it. And the crowd just erupted.
They loved it.
And we were like.
And if they had known what was going on in our ears, there's panic. Like,
needless to say that from that show on, we did that. And so I say accidents in that. The way we met one another, beyond Luke and I being brothers, but the way we met the other 5 guys that are up on stage was sort of happy accidents. The way that we stumbled across a lot of these dynamics, and it's all of us together. It's not one big long accident. It's deliberate accidents, but it's putting ourselves in a position, saying, how can we grow? What would be exciting? What would be fun to do here? And so that's when you end up with, I suppose, a nominee for Best Live Show.
Well, as brothers, you guys are always together. I come from a family of 5 kids, so I know how exhausting it is to be around them all the time, but you guys are always around each other. Yeah. Is that difficult?
You know what? It isn't now. When we were growing up, Joel and I were kind of arch rivals. We butted heads quite a lot, and I think that's kind of typical of when you're younger and trying to find your way. And there's five boys and 2 girls in our family, so the 5 boys are real competitive, and there's the clashings of you won that, I lost this, you get mad at the other, he's bigger, he can wrestle me, all those types of things. But at the end of the day, when we started working together on music, Joel and I's personalities are just totally different. We're not really anything alike, to be totally honest.
You can tell.
and that actually helps.
Well, who's more likable? That's the real question.
I like you both equally. You can't ask me this on camera.
Diplomacy.
Or ever.
But at the end of the day, you know, Joel's become one of my best friends in the world, and we do spend a lot of time together. But when we're home, you know, we don't call each other up to go see a movie very often because we spend so much time together.
Yeah.
So we kind of, I feel like, have got a decent boundaries of, this, you know, we work together and we have fun while we work together. That's another big thing. I think a lot of people think that work has to be somewhat boring, and we have a great time. And I think because of that, we, you know, every time we see each other, we kind of look forward to it, even though there are times that I think I see him more than my wife.
When you say work has to be fun, do you guys feel like you were really called into Christian music?
Well, Christian music is an interesting turn of phrase in general. We love writing songs about God. We love things that some of the most important songs one can write. And we love what KLOVE represents and putting hope on the airwaves and all of that. But I think we set out to write music about things that were really important to us from the beginning. You know, so relationships and love and life and obviously God is paramount in that equation. And so inherently, I think there are, you know, moments like Shoulders where it's just this is a song kind of writes you more than you write it. But I think one of the things that we really sensed growing up, because we grew up in a very musical family, is music has power, and let's use that power for something that's greater than ourselves and use it to point people heavenward. So I guess it was deliberate in some way.
You guys reach quite a crossover audience, especially lately. You've snagged 2 Grammys, and you have been on Jimmy Kimmel, which is awesome. What is that feeling of knowing that you're able to speak into people's lives who don't necessarily know Christ as their Savior?
I mean, I think that's the ultimate hope, right? I mean, in the Bible it says, go and make disciples of all nations. So I don't necessarily think it makes a ton of sense for us to always just be in a little box. I think it's our endeavor is to try and get outside to people that might go, I have no idea what they're talking about, but I feel something. There's something about that music that, you know, yesterday I lost my job, but today because I heard that song, it there's some sort of hope involved. And we hope that they ask themselves that question: is what's different about this? What makes this feel like my soul is leaping? What is it that is turning my heart? And you know, I don't think we'll fully know the results of that this side of heaven. But our goal is to write songs that encourage the church, but also plant a seed for the people that don't know who Jesus is.
Well, really quickly before we wrap up, talk to me about your latest album, Run Wild, Live Free, Love Strong. It's had quite a bit of success. What is the message behind it? What do you guys hope that people will take away from it?
We thought of, when we came up with the title, that we thought, let's make it actually like a paragraph rather than just like, you should see the awful people. I mean, you did a great job, but it's like a tongue twister. Run free,
live strong, live.
Yeah. Someone just wrapped it up with Die Hard the other day. I was like, well, that works. But actually, it's funny that the whole album is hopefully kind of self-contained in the title. And that is, and there's a little monologue right at the end where we sort of break down each of the phrases. But Run Wild, I think when you initially think of that word, you think of like college debauchery or something. It's like, but no, I don't think, in fact, I feel like I would argue that's more slavery than anything else. I think true freedom and true ability to run wild is being in touch with the Creator and who conceived you, who knows you better than you know yourself. And so that's kind of run wild and live free. And then love strong, ultimately, if you it's kind of the classic, you know, biblical statement. If you do all of these great things, even, you know, go to the stake as a martyr, but you don't love, then what's the point of it? So that and that was kind of the punctuation, so to speak, at the end of the phrase, very deliberately, was, hey, do all these things, great, you know, be the most productive, the most reasonable, the most loving, the most kind, gracious person you can be, but don't sacrifice love. Love is the center of it.
Well, at the beginning of this interview, you guys were definitely my favorite because of the personal gift.
Favorite Christian duos.
No, favorite everything, just favorite Christians. But because of, how y'all helped me out last year. But I just really sense your heart for the Lord, and I love it. And so I love you guys even more. And I thank you for taking this time to sit down with us